There's a special species of person who has convinced themselves that the laws of physics, basic business logic, and social contracts are actually just customer service suggestions they're allowed to negotiate. The complaints you're about to hear don't just bend reality, they shatter it into pieces so small that even an apology couldn't reassemble them. By the end of this, you'll either restore your faith in humanity or abandon it entirely. There's no middle ground here. Number 1. A customer ordered a pizza online at 11:45 p.m. from a pizza place that closed at midnight, then 1 hour later. Full hour after the restaurant had locked its doors and turned off the ovens, sent an angry message demanding to know where his pizza was. The customer insisted he had placed the order well before closing time, which was technically true by 15 minutes, and therefore the restaurant had broken their promise by not delivering to his address 30 minutes after they'd stopped existing as a functional business. He demanded a refund and compensation for his emotional distress. The timestamp on his order was 11:52 p.m. Number 2. Someone bought a cheap phone case online, received it, realized it was cheap, and then left a 1-star review complaining that the product didn't feel like premium leather. The listing had explicitly stated it was silicone. The person somehow believed that by buying something called silicone for $8, the silicone would undergo a transformation into genuine leather through the sheer force of their disappointment. The reviewer concluded with false advertising. It was not. Number 3. A woman ordered a decorative throw pillow with a specific color swatch image attached to the listing. When the pillow arrived, it was the exact color of the swatch, which apparently looked different in her living room than it did on her computer screen. A phenomenon that has never occurred before in human history. Certainly. She demanded a full refund, return shipping paid, and a $50 apology credit because the item didn't match her unrealistic expectation of how color works in three-dimensional space. The selling page had included a disclaimer. Colors may vary slightly based on monitor settings and lighting. She had read neither the product description nor, apparently, accepted the basic rules of optics. Number 4. A customer bought noise-canceling headphones, used them outside on a busy street, and complained in the reviews that they weren't actually canceling out the sound of trucks. Noise-canceling headphones reduce environmental noise to a comfortable level by generating inverse sound waves. They don't create a silent bubble where physics doesn't apply. But this person genuinely believed that for $200, they had purchased the ability to exist in a completely separate sonic dimension. When told they were misunderstanding the product, they escalated by demanding the company explain what the point of noise cancellings even is if you can still hear loud sounds being loud. Number 5. Someone ordered a size extra large shirt, and it arrived as an extra large shirt. The customer left a complaint stating that the shirt was way too big, completely overlooking the fact that they had clicked the extra large button themselves, had confirmed their size selection, and had received exactly what they ordered. They seemed to believe that the universe would read their mind, recognize their actual size, and override their explicit choice. They rated the company 1 star for not understanding how to fit customers. The company understood perfectly. The customer understood nothing. Number 6. A person bought a cheap watch online, the kind that costs less than a coffee, and complained that the battery died after 6 months. The listing had specified a typical battery life of 6 months. They had somehow believed this meant the battery would live forever after 6 months, rather than, lasting approximately 6 months. They demanded a refund, replacement, and compensation for the false claim, seemingly unaware that the entire watch had probably cost more to ship than to manufacture. Number 7. Someone ordered a book on Amazon, and when it arrived, they were horrified to discover that it was a paperback instead of hardcover. The listing clearly indicated it was a paperback. The customer had somehow missed every visual indicator, the text that literally said, paperback, and the price, which should have been a giveaway that this was not the deluxe leather-bound collector's edition they seemed to think they were entitled to. Their complaint? Why would they even sell a book in this format? Who reads paperbacks anymore? Apparently not them, because they'd never actually looked at what they were buying. Number 8. A customer ordered a phone screen protector, something so transparent it barely registers as existing, and complained that they could slightly see it when the phone is off. The product's entire job is to be invisible while protecting glass. The customer had expected not just invisibility, but somehow also a magical enhancement that made their phone screen look better than it did without protection, which is not how transparent protection works. When the seller tried to explain the concept of transparency, the customer accused them of gaslighting them about physics. Number 9. Someone bought a plant online, received a wilted plant, and left a negative review blaming the seller for the plant being just a plant, meaning it required water and light, both of which this person seemed surprised to learn. The customer stated in their complaint that the plant should have arrived perfect forever, and that expecting them to care for a living organism was unrealistic and exploitative. They demanded a refund because apparently they believed they had purchased a decorative photo of a plant, not an actual plant, and that the seller should have warned them that real plants require actual plant care. Number 10. A man ordered a desk from a furniture seller, and it arrived with 47 pieces in boxes because he had ordered a flat-pack desk. He complained that the assembly process took way too long and that the seller had sold him basically a pile of sticks. When told that flat-pack furniture is exactly what the listing advertised, he demanded a refund because he thought flat-pack meant it would arrive already assembled, but just flat for shipping purposes. He genuinely believed the seller had scammed him out of thousands of dollars of labor by not pre-assembling a desk before shipping it across the country. Numbers 11. Someone purchased eyeglasses online, specified their prescription, received perfectly correct eyeglasses, and then complained that the glasses didn't help them see better. Upon investigation, it turned out they had never actually put the glasses on. They'd been wearing them on top of their head like a headband, looking through the air and wondering why they still couldn't read street signs. They rated the glasses 0 stars for not working, seemingly unaware that eyeglasses work by being placed over your eyes, not by existing in your vicinity. Number 12. A customer bought a garden hose rated for a specific water pressure, connected it to an industrial fire hydrant system, and was shocked when it exploded. They sued the seller for creating a defective product, claiming that a garden hose should work with any water source regardless of pressure. The listing had included specifications, warnings, and clear guidance on water pressure limits. The customer had read none of this because they believed product safety information was optional flavor text, and that sellers should somehow create tools that defy the laws of fluid dynamics to accommodate their inability to read. Number 13. Someone ordered a rug online and complained that it had a weird smell when it arrived. Most items shipped across continents in sealed containers for weeks will smell slightly different than your living room. Number 14. A woman ordered a size 12 dress, received a size 12 dress, but complained that it didn't fit the same way a dress in a physical store had fit her. She had somehow believed that online shopping would allow her to experience clothes in exactly the way she had in a physical fitting room, despite standing in her living room in completely different lighting, under completely different mirrors, on a completely different day, with a completely different mindset. She demanded a refund for deceptive product presentation, seemingly unable to grasp that changing the context of an object changes how it appears. Number 15. A customer bought a USB cable. It worked perfectly, but he complained that it was shorter than expected. The listing clearly specified the length. It was a 6-foot cable and it was 6 feet long. Number 16. Someone ordered a watch, and after 1 year of normal use, the back fell off. They had taken the watch to the beach, to the shower, and apparently into a pool, despite it being rated splash-resistant rather than waterproof. They complained that the watch was defective and demanded a replacement because the seller had clearly misunderstood the definition of water resistance. They seemed to believe that splash-resistant meant fully submersible, which is the opposite of what those words mean. They rated the company 1 star for lying about their product. Number 17. A customer bought a smart thermostat and then complained that it was too complicated to use. The thermostat came with a manual, a tutorial video, and an app with a built-in help section. The customer had used none of these resources and instead expected to operate a connected device through pure intuition alone. When the company offered to walk them through the setup process, they complained that good products shouldn't need help. They then demanded a refund for a product that was functioning perfectly. Their resistance to pressing buttons was not a design defect. Number 18. Someone ordered clothes from overseas, and when they arrived, they were slightly wrinkled from being folded in a box for 2 weeks. The customer complained that the clothes were damaged, and that the seller had obviously stored them in terrible conditions. Wrinkles exist. They disappear after you hang up the clothes or use an iron. This person somehow believed that every item they ordered should arrive in pristine, runway-ready condition, pressed by invisible angels during international transit. They demanded a replacement at no cost because fabric had been compressed. Number 19. A man ordered a laptop, opened it, and immediately complained that it had too many cables. The laptop came with a power cord and a charging cable, the absolute minimum required to use the device. He expected, apparently, that the laptop would charge wirelessly through the power of determination or that electricity would somehow find him without any conductors. He left a negative review. Why would they include these? Just make it wireless. The laptop was perfectly fine. The complaint was not. Number 20. Someone bought a pair of running shoes, wore them exclusively on concrete for 6 months, and complained that they were worn out and falling apart. Shoes have a lifespan. Running shoes specifically have a lifespan of 300 to 500 miles before the cushioning degrades. This person had apparently believed that shoes exist in a state of perpetual newness and that wearing them would have no effect on their structural integrity. They demanded a refund and accused the seller of using cheap materials, seemingly unaware that shoes are, by definition, things that get used up. Number 21. A customer ordered gourmet coffee, which arrived as whole coffee beans, and complained that you had to grind it yourself. The listing said, whole bean coffee. The customer had somehow believed that gourmet meant already prepared in the exact way you personally prefer, rather than higher quality. They didn't own a grinder. They expected the seller to somehow anticipate their specific needs and deliver pre-ground coffee at exactly the coarseness they wanted, served hot, despite it sitting in a box for 2 weeks. They demanded a refund for false advertising, meaning they wanted the seller to have committed to a service they were never offering. Number 22. A person ordered an item that was listed as final sale, no returns, completed the purchase, received the item, and then demanded a return 3 months later because they'd changed their mind. When told about the return policy they'd explicitly agreed to, they claimed the policy was unethical and that no company should be allowed to refuse returns. They seemed to believe that their desire to reverse a decision should legally override a contract they'd signed. They complained to the credit card company, who sided with the seller. They then left a review claiming they'd been scammed, despite having knowingly purchased a final sale item. Number 23. A customer ordered an expensive coat in a small, received it, and complained that the small was too small for them. The listing included size charts and customer reviews from people of similar heights. The customer had apparently not checked any of this information and had simply assumed that a small would fit them, despite having no basis for that assumption. They demanded a free exchange for a larger size, free return shipping, and compensation for wasting their time. The coat was the correct size. The customer was incorrect about their own measurements. The universe did not care about their frustration. Number 24. Someone ordered a smart home device, plugged it in, and it didn't work. Instead of checking the outlet, trying a different outlet, or consulting the manual, they immediately complained that the device was broken. After the company asked them to verify the outlet worked, it turned out they'd plugged the device into an outlet that controlled a light switch, meaning the outlet was off. The customer had purchased a smart device with no intent to understand how basic electricity works. Number 25. A woman ordered a winter coat, received a winter coat, but complained that the pockets were not big enough for a full-size laptop. She had apparently believed that a coat pocket, designed to hold a hand or a phone, should accommodate a laptop, a 17-inch piece of technology, because she wanted it to. The listing showed the coat. The coat looked like a coat. The pockets looked like coat pockets. She had somehow expected a coat to defy the laws of proportion and space. She demanded a refund because the product wasn't suitable for her lifestyle, meaning her lifestyle involved trying to fit objects into spaces they couldn't physically occupy. Number 26. A customer ordered a basic USB charger for $3, received it, used it for 18 months, and then complained that it had stopped working. They demanded a full refund and a replacement because the charger was defective. They seemed to believe that a device costing less than a sandwich should function indefinitely with no degradation, and that after a year and a half of constant use, the charger's eventual failure was evidence of poor manufacturing rather than the natural entropy of all physical objects. The company correctly noted that the charger had long exceeded any reasonable expectation for a budget item. Number 27. Finally, a person placed an order on a website and then, while checking out, selected standard shipping, which the listing clearly stated would take 5 to 7 business days.